Okay, modern India. So today I'll cover 1857 to 1919. That is brief history I'll give. What about how it happened all actually. So it started with the 1857 revolt. Um, that some Sipais they revolted against a British officer. It was all in North India, not in South India. Nowhere connection with South India, that one. So that main reason was actually that they introduced a new rifle, that rifle called as Enfield rifle. In that time it was new rifle, and for that they used cartridge. It was rumor that cartridge made from cow and pig fat. So because of that rumor, Sipais, that Hindu Sipais and Muslim Sipais, they opposed using cartridge that which they used to load for Enfield rifle. So, because of that opposition, around 85 soldiers imprisoned or arrested in their whatever that this one defense prison was there, they imprisoned. So, that was the first stage. And there one person called as such that Mangal Pandey, he was soldier. Mangal Pandey at Barakpur. Barakpur, it is in Bengal. He revolted against his officer, British officer, and he attempted for killing him. It was attempt, and he got injury. So because of that, British British, they hanged Mangal Pandey. So here first step is actually that they started new rifle, that rifle called as Enfield rifle, and for that they used cartridge, that cartridge made from cow and pig fat. It was all rumor. No, nobody knew actually that what about that cartridge. So Sipais revolted, and because of revolt, they had a court. That court called as martial court. That martial court is nothing but defense court. So it ordered imprisoning 85 soldiers who opposed using cartridge that made from cow and pig fat. So again here at Barakpur, Mangal Pandey, he was soldier. Mangal Pandey, Brahmin soldier. He attempted for killing British officer, and because of that, actually, that Mangal Pandey hanged. So this is first stage, that how that 1857 revolt started. Then again that spread to other part of North India, that mainly Uttar Pradesh, that what we tell present Meerut. So in Meerut, the Sipais revolted. Then they attacked prison. They released 85 soldiers who were in jail or prison. And from there, they went to Delhi. In Delhi, they declared, it is not made actually, they declared Bahadur Shah II. Bahadur Shah II was a Mughal ruler. They declared Bahadur Shah II as Emperor of India. Whether he liked or not, that is secondary. But the soldiers declared he was Emperor of India. It is just like pressure, whether Bahadur Shah II accepted or not. So like this actually. Then other part actually, that other part means actually that some Indian rulers who face problem with Britishers, because actually that in that time British Governor General he introduced some policies that he told actually that Indian kings without biological son, they had no right to continue in their kingdom, or that kingdom used to go to Britishers. No, so again they used to give pension to some Peshwa. They stopped the pension. So because of this all actually that they revolted. Example in Kanpur, Nana Sahib revolted, and Jhansi Rani, Lakshmi Bai, she revolted. Like this actually, here also in Karnataka, Kittur Rani Chennamma revolted because she had adopted child. So in 1858, Britishers successfully suppressed revolt. So 1857 revolt started, and 1858 they suppressed the revolt. They killed Indian princes or kings who revolted against Britishers. So up to 1857, India was under the control of East India Company. East India Company is just like Tata Company or Infosys Company, Wipro Company, up to 1858. 1857, up to 1857, India was under the control of East India Company, and here they appointed the Governor General of India, East to manage whole India. From 1858, India was under the control of British Queen. They changed entire system actually. That the British, so India was under the control of British Queen. Below British Queen, British Parliament. Below British Parliament, British Prime Minister. Below British Parliament, Prime Minister, they appointed one person called Secretary for State India Affair. So Secretary for State India Affair, he was minister. He was in charge of India from Britain. And for giving advice that what about India, they created one council called as Indian Council. That Indian Council had 15 members. That 15 members is to give advice to Secretary for State India Affair. Secretary means actually that in Britain, minister. Here will tell minister, but they will tell secretary. So first is a British Queen, second Parliament, British Parliament, and third is a British Prime Minister, and fourth is Secretary for State India Affair, and fifth is Indian Council. It had 50 members for giving advice to Secretary for State India Affair. Then in India they appointed Viceroy of India. Viceroy of India was just like a Prime Minister. And below Viceroy, they created Viceroy Council. Viceroy Council had members. Now, what will tell ministers? Actually, now for Viceroy Council, now we will tell cabinet. Cabinet consists of cabinet ministers. So, in that time, they created Viceroy Council, and also they created Central Legislature. Central Legislature equal to present Parliament. And in that time, India's capital was Calcutta. Now, what will tell Delhi? Like that, actually, they made Calcutta as capital. In Calcutta, they had Viceroy of India. He was equal to Prime Minister. And Viceroy Council. Viceroy Council had ministers. And Central Legislature, that is equal to Parliament. Okay. Then in India that they divided whole India into 11 provinces. Provinces means state. What now? What will tell Karnataka state, Tamil Nadu state, Kerala state, like that. 11, they had 11 provinces. For each and every provinces, they appointed governor. Governor was British. They appointed governor. And below governor, governor council. Governor council means here will tell no state ministers, Karnataka state ministers. Like that, they had a governor council. Governor council had members. Plus uh, provincial legislature. Provincial legislature means state legislature. Now we'll tell now here Karnataka state legislature. Like that, they should tell Madras provincial legislature, Bombay provincial legislature, like that. So in state, governor, below governor, governor council, below governor council, provincial legislature. And in Delhi, now in that time, in the place of Delhi, Calcutta was capital. In Calcutta, Viceroy of India, below Viceroy, Viceroy Council, below Viceroy Council, Central Legislature. Like that, they had a hierarchy. Again, there were Indian princes like Mysore king here in Pune Peshwa, then Hyderabad Nizam. No, they made actually that Mysore was under the control of Wadiyar, and below Wadiyar they appointed British commissioner. So head of Mysore was Wadiyar, below Wadiyar British commissioner. No, again Mysore legislature, like that. But the Mysore commissioner he was equal to chief minister in that time. You got idea, no? So he was just like Mysore Wadiyar, below is Wadiyar, British commissioner. So now we'll in Karnataka we'll tell Boring Hospital, in Bangalore we'll tell Boring Hospital, or we'll tell Kabbampur. Kabban was British commissioner in Mysore. We'll tell Boring, no? Boring Hospital. Boring was British commissioner in Mysore. So Wadiyar, below Wadiyar, British commissioner, and Mysore legislature. Like that, they made hierarchy. So you got idea now that how they divided. So whole India went under the control of British Queen. So that was 1858. Up to 1857, India was under the control of East India Company, and they should tell Governor General of India. And from 1858, India was under the control of British Queen, and here they appointed Viceroy of India. So this is part one. What will tell? 1857 revolt, then 1858 what about changes. Next is 1885. So 1885 Indian National Congress established. 1885 Indian National Congress established by A.O. Hume, Hume, A.O. Hume, and A.O. Hume was ICS officer. Now what will tell IAS officer? In that time they should tell ICS officer. A.O. Hume was retired ICS officer, And for him, Viceroy of India gave idea for establishing one organization. That organization was Indian National Congress. See, behind all actually that all Viceroy. And why Indian National Congress? See that the Indians had grievances against Britishers, and Britishers knew that one actually that solving that grievances impossible because they came to India for exploiting Indian resources. No, that collecting raw material from India and supplying to Britain and making that into finished goods, again bringing finished goods to India and selling for a higher cost. They were traders. Britishers were traders. So that naturally here we see that Indians' grievances were there. So Indians actually that for expressing their grievance. See, it is just like this actually. If you tell your problem will not solve, but you'll tell. So naturally you'll get some sort of type of psychological relief. So, like this, actually, that expressing their opinion, no, they established Indian National Congress, established by A.O. Hume. He was British ICS officer, retired ICS officer, supported by Viceroy. He gave idea. Okay, and they organized the first session. Session means meeting. They organized first session at Mumbai. There was a there was a college. That college called as Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit College. In that actually that one classroom, around 72 delegates participated. 72 delegates from different parts of India. They participated and they had one chairman or what we tell president or chairman, whatever it may be. The president was W.C. Banerjee. So W.C. Banerjee was first president of Indian National Congress. No, and there were some leaders actually. That example, Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, all actually that studied in Britain, English educated people. No, and they had trust on Britishers. They thought actually only Britishers will solve Indian problems, and all actually that urban English educated people, not from rural. So for them, we tell moderates. Moderates means actually that very obedient people, obedient to British government. Okay. So for them, that moderates means such that they adopted the constitutional method for solving their problem. What about constitutional method? Constitutional method also called as constitutional agitation. So they had three P's. So three P's means such that first P that will tell petition, second will tell prayer. No, first is such that petition, then second is prayer, third is actually protest. So that writing problem that we have also problem giving to British officer, and requesting him solve this problem. So sometime actually the British officer will not solve. And in that time actually that going for peaceful protest. Peaceful protest means sitting in front of office peacefully. So petition means writing letter, telling actually what about the problem. Second, prayer means such a requesting government officer, and third is such a that peaceful protest. That is called constitutional agitation. Okay, it is just like actually that begging in front of British officer in their own land. No, but in that time it was proper. That's all actually. So this Indian National Congress established in 1885, established by retired ICS officer A.O. Hume. No, and they organized first session or meeting at Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit College, and its president was W.C. Banerjee, and 72 delegates participated. And they used to conduct session in different places every year that for building some type of national awareness because such that Indians had no idea about India. They had no idea about nationalism. So that every year they used to organize a session in different places so that Indians got awareness that what about India. Maybe small extent, that's all actually. So that weakness I told actually that one that whatever they had three P's petition, prayer, protest, it is nothing but begging in front of British officer, no, in their own land, and they had trust on Britishers. That trust is not good because actually they came here for looting India's wealth, not for solving Indians' problem or providing justice to Indians. No, here actually that one Dadabhai Nauroji, he was a very popular moderate leader, He wrote one theory called Drain of India's Wealth. Drain of India's Wealth. In Drain of India's Wealth theory, clearly mentioned how Britishers used to loot India's wealth. They used to collect raw material from India and they used to supply to Britain. And in Britain, they used to make that into finished goods. And again, they used to bring here, they used to sell for higher cost. And for British goods, they used to impose less tax. But for Indian goods, they used to impose more tax. So Indians unable to do business, Indians unable to export. No? And many Indian companies closed because such that British goods were cheaper, and also that it is that artificially made. So this is one part. So first part is 1857 revolt and what happened no after 1857, and the second part actually that establishing Indian National Congress. Okay, that will tell moderates. So that continued up to 1905. And the third stage, the will tell third part. Third part is extremism. No, extremist. What about extremist? It is very simple. Opposite to moderates. Moderates adopted constitutional agitation, but extremists adopted opposite. What about opposite? Very simple. Arthur means strike. Moderates demanded self rule to India. Self rule means such that India was under the control of Britishers, but appointing more Indians in government service, nominating more Indians in legislature. That is called self rule or self government. So, moderate leaders, what will tell Dadabhai Nauroji or W.C. Banerjee, they demanded self government to India or self rule to India. No? But extremists demanded Purna Swaraj. Purna Swaraj are complete independence to India. They don't want actually that working under Britishers. Okay, and here moderates such they adopted three P's: petition, prayer, protest. But extremists not like that actually. Harthad means strike. And Swadeshi. Swadeshi means such that we don't want government, British government. We want Indian government. We don't want British court. We want Indian court. We don't want British school or college. We want our own school and college. We don't want British established industries. We want our own industries. No, that is called Swadeshi. Swadeshi, Harthad. No, these all are that Swaraj. Swaraj means complete independence to India. No, these all organized by extremists. And here main leaders are there. One Bala Gangadhar Tilak, second Lala Lajpat Rai, no, then Bipin Chandrapal, Arbindo Ghosh, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandrapal, Arbindo Ghosh. We'll tell Bal Lal Pal, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandrapal, Arbindo Ghosh. See, these people came from rural area. They were not English educated people. Balagangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, no, Arvindo Ghosh, all not studied in Britain. They came from India. They came from rural area. No, so they gave importance for actually that mobilizing rural people. How to mobilize rural people? Go to village festivals because they'll tell Jatre, no, go to village festival. They organize that place through place actually that mobilize people, or they'll tell also that village market, they'll tell Sante, no? Usually every week they'll organize Sante or village market, go there and mobilize people, build awareness about what about British exploitation, no? They started mobilizing people in rural area, rural mass, what will tell common people. So that model is totally different. Actually, models every year they used to go to one city, another city. No, they used to organize a meeting. So models such a totally British method actually. That they had what will tell actually that Indian skin, but British mind because they studied in Britain, English educated people, but extremists totally local people. Again, here Balagangadhar Tilak, he organized Ganesha festival. Through Ganesha festival, he used to mobilize people. Again, he used to organize Shivaji festival. Through Shivaji festival, he used to organize people. So this is extremists and moderates. No, you got idea actually what about extremists? Extremists very simple. They had trust on Britishers. Moderate no moderates had trust on Britishers. Extremists not trust on Britishers, and moderates demanded Self-government. Self-government means India was under the control of British, but nominating more Indians in legislature, appointing more Indians in civil service or government service. And methods such they adopted three P's, but extremists adopted different method. Swaraj, no, and Harthad. Then Swadeshi. Swadeshi means our own court, our own school, all ours. See, next is the first is 1857 revolt and 1858 what happened. That is first. Second is INC, formation of INC and moderates and mainly that moderates era. After that, actually extremism started. And next stage is Bengal partition. Bengal partition in 1905. Why Bengal partition? See, 1857 revolt started. No, 18 and all revolts started in Bengal because in that time India's capital was Calcutta. Calcutta was in Bengal. Now also you can see that any development, any protest, it will happen in Delhi, capital city. So in that time capital city was Calcutta. That is Bengal. No, that in Bengal actually that people see 1857 to 1905 more than 50 years. More than 50 years means that people mind will change. So one actually that Indians became that area, that Bengalis became more educated. They got lot of awareness, no? And Britishers observed actually some type of changes in Bengalis. That maybe their talking method changed, their behavior changed. They expected one more revolt. So in 1905, that after 50 years, lot of changes, they expected one more revolt. So that already in 1857 they experienced problem. So they decided actually that avoiding that revolt, one more revolt. So that they planned actually that dividing community because actually that Bengal, one part called as East Bengal, that East Bengal dominated by Muslims and West Bengal dominated by Hindus. So they planned dividing Bengal into two. One East Bengal, second West Bengal. And but they gave reason in different way. They told actually Bengal was huge land, they were unable to manage. So from the point of administration, they told dividing Bengal into two, but clearly they divided on the basis of religion. East Bengal and West Bengal. West Bengal present what we have, and East Bengal is nothing but present Bangladesh. So in 1905, they divided Bengal into two. And extremists, especially Indian National Congress people, got idea why they divided. No, they divided because actually for opposing one more revolt, and clearly they divided on the basis of religion, Hindu, Muslim. And see, for opposing this Bengal partition, Indian National Congress, they started Swadeshi movement. So first is 1857 revolt. Maybe there actually some 3% or 4% Indians participated. In Swadeshi movement, more than 30% Indians participated. So Swadeshi movement, that is for opposing Bengal partition. Okay. So for opposing Bengal partition, they started Swadeshi movement, and here they made program. That program is actually that organizing Harthad in all over India. Organizing Harthad. Harthad means strike. And the second, celebrating Raksha Bandhan. Raksha Bandhan means actually that building we feeling among Indians. And third, popularizing Swadeshi. In that time, Indian cloth had huge demand in Europe. So establishing weaving industries across India. So number one is actually that organizing Arthad. Second, that celebrating Raksha Bandhan. Third is actually popularizing Swadeshi. And it became huge movement, Swadeshi movement. See, Britishers planned one way, but here another problem started. No, that Swadeshi movement. No, they got one more idea. That idea is actually that again strengthening Muslims. So they divided the Bengal into two on the basis of community. Now they planned actually strengthening Muslim. So how to strengthen? Establish one organization, just like Indian National Congress. That organization called as Muslim League. And for Muslim League, who gave idea? Viceroy of India gave idea. So he planned. And here Muslim League established by Nawab Salimullah Khan. Nawab Salimullah Khan in Dhaka. Dhaka present Bangladesh capital. And who was Nawab Salimullah Khan? He was right hand of Viceroy of India. or puppet of Viceroy of India. So they established in a Muslim League, and also that what about programs of Muslim League that also planned by Viceroy of India. That is nothing but Muslim League will support Britishers. And why Muslim League will support Britishers? For solving Muslim problem. So again, they strengthened Muslims. No, they started dividing Hindus and Muslims successfully. But with all actually that this Swadeshi movement continued, they realized continuing Swadeshi movement is very difficult. Okay, so that again in 1909, in 1909 they passed one act, that act called as India Act 1909. India Act 1909. They gave reservation to Muslims. They gave reservation to Muslim. Naturally, what happened? One, naturally, that they divided Bengal into two on the basis of religion, and the second, they established a Muslim League. Okay, we'll tell Muslim League established by Nawab Salimullah Khan at Dhaka. But who gave idea? Viceroy of India gave idea. And even he planned actually what about program of Muslim League that is supporting Britishers solving Muslim problem. And in 1909 they gave reservation to Muslims. Okay, because they realized actually that continuing that Bengal partition very difficult, and they planned uniting Bengal. But before uniting, that dividing Muslims. And again in 1909, they introduced indirect election. That what we are seeing now, Rajya Sabha election. See, for Rajya Sabha election, we will not participate, that MLAs will vote for Rajya Sabha members. So that is called indirect election. So indirect election they introduced in 1909, and also they gave reservation to Muslims. So here actually that they got Muslim support. In 1911 they united Bengal into one. So in 1905 they divided Bengal, and in 1911 they united. So successfully what happened actually that they avoided revolt like 1857 whatever happened. And in the same time actually that present whatever Pakistan is there, for that actually they planted seed that what we are facing problem. So I think you got idea that the first part is 1857 revolt and the 1858 changes. That is first. And the second is establishing Indian National Congress in 1885. There what will tell moderates. They demanded self-government to India. Gradually we see development of extremism. Extremism much of that led by Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, Arvindo Ghosh. No? After that, you see Bengal partition and starting Swadeshi movement. And because of Swadeshi movement, whatever they divided Bengal, again they united. No? And in 1909, they introduced indirect election and they gave reservation to Muslims. Then 1914, First World War. So in First World War, USA and Britain considered as allies. So First World War, India supported, Indians supported, no, India and Indians supported for First World War. Gandhiji was in South Africa. From South Africa, he went to Britain in 1914, and he mobilized Indians in Britain for supporting the Britishers. So because of that, actually, that he got award as Kaiser I Hind. Kaiser I Hind equal to present Bharat Ratna. He got award from British Queen. Kaiser High Hind. No, that in 1914 Gandhiji went to Britain, mobilized Indians for supporting Britishers in First World War. So there actually that development, First World War. Then in India, no, in India, that there was one session called as Lucknow session. See, this Indian National Congress every year they used to organize session. Even Muslim League also used to organize session in different places. So in 1916, Indian National Congress organized a session at Lucknow. In Lucknow, that in see, I don't actually moderates and extremists. So in 1907, there was one session called a Surah session. There actually that moderates and extremists divided because of differences in opinion in Surah session. In 1916, in Lucknow session, they united because of Mrs. Anne Besant. See, Mrs. Anne Besant, she started the Home Rule League, and she was very good in diplomacy, just like our External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. And because of Mrs. Sani Besant, extremists and moderates they united in Lucknow session. Lucknow session that every year INC used to organization. So they organized session in Lucknow. Again, because of Sani Besant, both Muslim League and Indian National Congress organized session side by side in Lucknow, and that was first and last, where actually that Muslim League and Indian National Congress organized session. Okay, so this is in the middle. That first part is 1857 revolt and changes in 1858, and second part is 1885 establishment of Indian National Congress, moderate era, and the next is actually that extremism, and next is partition of Bengal. That was in 1905 for opposing that INC started which movement? Swadeshi movement. Then in 1906, Muslim League established by Nawab Salimullah Khan for supporting Britishers, solving British problem. In 1907, in Surah session, Indian National Congress divided into two, moderates and extremists. Then in 1909, Britishers introduced reservation to Muslim, and also they introduced indirect election. No? Then in 1914, First World War, there India supported Britishers in First World War. Okay. Then Lucknow session. In Lucknow session, both extremists and moderates united, and all because of Ani Besant. And here, home, this one Muslim League and Indian National Congress side by side they organized a session. That was first and last. Then what about this Home Rule League? Home Rule League established by Mrs. Annie Besant at Adyar. Nova site is there in Chennai, at Adyar, near Madras. And her objective is such a demanding home rule. Home rule means it was nothing but self-government. So India was under the control of British Queen, but more Indians in legislature and more Indians in civil services. No, and or another side actually she popularized our Veda, what we tell Vedanta, Upanishad. She told actually that when compared to Europe, our Indian culture is more supreme. So it is nothing but actually that building confidence among Indians, building supremacy among their culture. No? That she did, and she was very good. She was very good in diplomacy. Diplomacy means bringing people together. So I told actually that India supported Britishers in First World War. So because of that, actually that in 1917, that what 1917, in August, they passed one declaration that Britishers told will give more power to Indians. That is called August Declaration 1917. That is also called as Deepavali Declaration. August Declaration or Deepavali Declaration. They told will give more power to Indians. So whatever they told us that in 1919 they passed one act that is called India Act 1919, 1919, India Act 1919. So in India Act 1919 they introduced direct election, that now what we'll see Lok Sabha election, that people voting. So they introduced direct election and they created two houses, that is now what we tell Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Like that they created two houses, upper house and lower house. Upper house nothing but present Rajya Sabha, lower house is nothing but present Lok Sabha. That actually they introduced in 1990. See, Britishers know actually that they used to give, that they had a carrot and a stick policy. On one side they used to give something and on the another side they used to take something. That is called carrot and stick policy. Give something, take something. No, make happy, make sad. That's all actually. So that sad is nothing but Rowlatt Act. ROWLAT, Rowlatt Act 1919. Rowlatt Act 1919. So that Rowlatt Act 1919 will tell that police can arrest any person, any Indian, without any arrest warrant. So no arrest warrant, police can arrest any person. And also they can detain arrested person maximum 2 years in prison. So they can arrest any person without any arrest warrant. They can keep arrested person in prison maximum 2 years. So on the basis of Rowlatt Act, they arrested Dr. Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu. Dr. Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu are Sikh leaders, very popular Sikh leaders. Dr. Satyapal and Kichlu. No, they are the under Rowlatt Act 1919. So that here they passed India Act 1919. In the same time, they passed Rolat Act. No, here for opposing the leaders' arrest, that police arrested Dr. Satyapal and Kichlu for opposing the leaders' arrest. Six, no, mainly ladies and children. Why ladies and children means that day there was festival, the Baishaki festival. Usually in Baishaki festival, that's Savdajis with their family they'll go to park or ground, no, like that. Actually, that in but because of Baishaki festival in Amritsar, that more than 1,000 ladies and children with their husband, what we can tell, they went to this one Jallianwala Bagh ground, no. Uh, but Amritsar collector, what will tell, no, district collector, no, district collector was a General Dyer, DY General Dyer. So that he ordered martial law. Martial law also called as curfew. Now also that system is there. In any district, actually district collector can impose martial law or curfew. So present I'm telling actually that if district collector impose martial law or curfew, that gathering more than one person in public place with weapon is considered as illegal. There, what happened actually, again, Saddajis, they use their own religious weapon. Um, so here, actually, that Saddajis, without having awareness about martial law or curfew, that more than 1,000 ladies and children with their husband, they gathered in Jallianwala Bagh ground. That Jallianwala Bagh ground had only one entrance, and that gathering more than 1,000 players in public place considered as illegal as per martial law. So General Dyer ordered fire. So police killed all 1,000 people. So that is called as Jallianwala Bagh massacre. No, that was actually that turning point, no, that usually in that how Britishers became popular, that how Britishers started dominating. There was one event called as such that black hole event. No, black hole means actually that in Bengal, in that time Bengal governor, somewhere in 1770, 1780, in that time, that Bengal governor imprisoned more than 100 British soldiers in a small room, no, in Calcutta, and very next day, that all the 100, more than 100 people died. That is called Black Hole incident. No, that was starting point, and Jallianwala Bagh massacre considered as starting up, ending of Britishers in India, because Indians realized actually that Britishers are staying in India not for doing justice to India, for looting India, killing India. No, so that Jallianwala Bagh massacre considered as that one stage. No, that deterioration of Britishers. So here first I told 1857 revolt and what about changes made by Britishers in 1858. And the second I told actually that 1885 formation of Indian National Congress, moderates, no, and they demanded self-government to India. Then slowly that evolution of extremism by Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, Arvinda Ghosh, and they demanded Swaraj, complete independence to India, and Hartal organizing strike across India, and Swadeshi, that our own court, our own school, our own companies that for making textile, no, that changes. Then 1905 Bengal partition, purely on the basis of religion. East Bengal dominated by Muslims, West Bengal dominated by Hindus. For opposing that one, actually, that Indian started, or Indian National Congress started the Swadeshi movement. Then in 1906, establishment of Muslim League by Nawab Salimullah Khan. In 1907, Surat, Indian National Congress session, that extremists and moderates divided. Then in 1909, Britishers introduced reservation to Muslim. They introduced indirect election. No? Then 1911, merging Bengal into one. Then 1914, First World War, Indians supported. In 1916 Lucknow session, both extremists and moderates merged together. Then first and last, Muslim League and INC organization side by side. Then in 1917, that is called August Declaration or Deepali Declaration, Britishers told will give more power to Indians. Then again in the mid Rowlatt Act, police can arrest any person without any arrest warrant. They can detain arrested person maximum 2 years in prison. No, this one on the basis of Rowlatt Act, they imprisoned Dr. Satyapal and Kichulu, and for opposing their leader's arrest and also for celebrating Baishaki festival, that more than 1,000 children and ladies gathered in Jallianwala Bagh. There, actually, General Dyer ordered fire. That is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Then last is India Act 1919. In India Act 1919, they introduced direct election, and they created two houses, that is upper house and lower house. Now what will tell Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. We'll end up.